So, you finally decide you want to transfer and share those old tapes you found sitting in your closet. So, in an attempt to do so, you turn to your good old friend Google to find a tutorial. And I'm guessing that's what brought you to this tutorial. Well, let me tell you that you've come to the right place. It seems that people really do not know how to properly transfer tapes. Even the people at CBS do not know how to properly transfer tapes. It's an epidemic that needs to be dealt with. This is the semi-pro way to properly transfer analog media. Before I begin, you may wonder, how is this old video so smooth? You must be faking the frames. Where are the lines or combing? Analog has only 30 or 25 frames per second. Well, guess what, kids? You're all half right. Yes, analog video is only 30 or 25 frames per second. However, there are 2 frames squeezed into one. So when displayed onto a screen, like a CRT for example, it's an effective 60 or 50 frames per second. Those lines you see are spots in time 1/60th or 1/50th apart from each other, which is why you can notice those lines. If you want to learn more about this, I highly recommend you watch this video by the YouTube channel Filmmaker IQ. Things you'll need: the device that can play the analog medium. Whether you're trying to convert VHS, Betamax, Betacam, Betacam SP, Video 8, High 8, or anything in between, you need the proper deck or camcorder that is equipped to play any of these tapes that you need to play for your process. A capture card. Upon your research, you may have discovered these black squid-looking USB things. Either you thought, ew, what is this cheap garbage? Or, this thing looks pretty interesting. I'm here to tell you that yes, indeed, this Easy Cap is worth the $8 I paid for it. You may also wonder why I have 3 of these things. Well,
one of these things is not like the others. Which one?
Upon further inspection, they all have completely different chipsets, each with varying degrees of quality. This first one here I'd consider to be the original Easy Cap, equipped with a chip titled So Magic SMI 2021 CBE. This one here has an AMT 630A chip on board, and this one here with a UTV007 chip on board. With some video tests, I've come to the conclusion that the UTV007 chip provides the best quality of the 3. So when you go to pick up one of these things, make sure somewhere on the listing it says UTV007. There is one caveat to using a UTV007, and that is it does overheat. After about an hour of use, it will overheat, resulting in some corrupt frames. Getting a 9x9x5mm heatsink does suppress this. If that isn't enough, I would also suggest something like a laptop cooler, which also helps dissipate the heat. This one here just fits right on the card, however you may need a USB extender to position the card to the cooler. A fast enough computer. Well, honestly, it isn't really that much. I use a ThinkPad T410 equipped with an i5 520M, an NVIDIA NVS 3100M, and 8GB of DDR3 RAM, and it works just fine for me and my setup. If you have a more powerful computer than this old business laptop from 2010, you'll be fine. Storage space. These raw captures do take up a lot of storage, about 25 to 30 gigabytes of storage per hour, so make sure you do have the storage space for these. You can get a 2 terabyte portable hard disk drive from anywhere between $60 to $80. Now this is entirely optional since this capture card is pretty tolerant to iffy video signals, but if you are a perfectionist like myself, you can get a time-based corrector / frame synchronizer. The one I use here is a Digital Processing Systems model DPS235. There's nothing too unique to this one. I only mainly bought it because a YouTube channel by the name of Hardware Games uses one. Also optional, but actually recommended, getting a dedicated USB audio interface. The capture card audio is adequate, but the audio signal can come in ever so slightly too hot for some signals too high. Either plug the audio into the mic port on your computer or getting a USB audio interface. Anything will do, but I use a Zoom H1N, which is what I am currently using right now to talk to you guys. Last but not least, patience. You most likely need to dedicate an entire day or weekend depending on how many tapes you have for this. You will be playing these tapes in real time, so having the time to yourself without any distractions is necessary. Got all that? Good. Let's move on to the next thing. Software. You will need to acquire the proper software for this process. You will need Virtualdub, created by the god of tape preservation himself, Avery Lee. This is the program we'll be using to retrieve the signal from the capture card. I use a 64-bit derivative of this named VDub64, however the 32-bit version does work perfectly fine. Lagarith. This is the codec we'll be using to losslessly store the signal direct from the capture card. The UTV007 Drivers. You may already have these drivers if your capture card came with a mini CD. You will need these drivers to operate the capture card. FFMPEG. This is what we'll be using to encode the video into a more internet-friendly video. DVDStyler. This is optional, however, if you're going to be burning these videos onto a DVD, you will need something like this. You will also need to use a program titled IMGBurn to create an ISO and burn to a disk. VLC Media Player. Also optional, but if you're going to be burning these to a disk, you may actually need to use this software if you don't already have the software to view the DVD movies. All of this software is free, and I will provide links. I'll try to do my best to make sure that they are active. Now that the tools are before you, we can finally move on to the actual tutorial. Installing your drivers. We'll start by installing the UTV007 drivers. Inside the UTV007 drivers folder, there are 4 different versions. I'm running Windows 8.1 64-bit, so I just installed the Windows 7 64-bit version. I have tested these drivers on Windows 10 and they have worked for me fine in the past. You'll most likely need the Windows 7 64-bit version, however. To install this, just right-click on the OEM drv.inf and click Install. Just accept the administration access and it'll automatically be installed on your computer. Installing the codec. It's pretty straightforward. Just run the Lagarith setup executable, and with administration access, just go through the installation wizard. At this point, you might want to restart your computer, just in case. You never know. Once your computer has restarted, at this point you should be able to plug in your capture card or anything else you need to plug in to your computer. Initiating Virtualdub. Now go ahead and run the Virtualdub executable. Under File, go to Capture AVI. Under Device, select OEM Device. Once that's done, under Video, select Preview or press P. Otherwise, the video looks like garbage. If your video either has garbage on the bottom or is cropped, you may need to match the video standard on Virtualdub to the region of your analog medium. The best way to do this is to just have your deck or camcorder on and displaying anything on the screen. Then under Video, capture Pin. It should show the region of your analog medium under Video Standard. Simply press OK and it should resolve itself. If the picture is black, 1. Make sure everything is turned on and plugged in. 2. Depending on if you're using Composite or S-Video, you will need to change that under Video Source. If it's still black, you may need to change your levels under Video Levels or pressing the L key, as they are most likely set to 0. Now we need to set the codec. Under Video Compression or pressing the C key, we should be able to select Lagarith Lossless Codec. Click Configure and make sure your box looks as the same here. Click OK and OK. Now let's set the audio up. By default, it should be the capture device. But if you're using another audio source like a USB audio interface, you will need to select that. Under Capture Timing, we will be selecting how Virtualdub treats the video and audio stream. These are the golden settings. You must make sure that your box looks exactly the same as here. I put a lot of time into making sure these are correct, so make sure you get it right. Once done, click OK. At this point, you should probably check and fine-tune any other levels such as audio or video levels. Once you feel everything is ready, you can set the capture file. Make sure your storage medium is ready, whether it be your internal or external storage. Go ahead and name the file and set it somewhere you'll remember. Go ahead and set your analog medium to the beginning. Get comfortable and grab a snack, because this is the part where you'll be watching and monitoring the entire process. Make sure you are able to see and also hear the video very clearly, whether it be something like desktop speakers or over-ear headphones. With Virtualdub now initialized, you can finally start capturing. Go to Capture, Capture Video, or press F5 or F6. Then after about 3 seconds, press play on your deck or camcorder. Now that it's capturing, under Sync you should notice that these numbers are changing. If they aren't, either you haven't properly set your audio source or you haven't properly set in the golden settings. So stop the capture, go back, fix them before you start capturing again. At this stage, let's say you're about halfway through and something happens, like corrupt frames, or you accidentally unplug something. Fear not, for I do have a solution. Just stop the capture, rewind the video about 10 to 15 seconds before it happened, set another capture file, and after the file name, put something like 2 or part 2, so that you do not overwrite any other files. Make sure everything is good to go again, and press capture. There is a way to splice these parts together seamlessly, and I will show you how to do that here in a bit. You can do this for as many times as you need to, as long as you do not overwrite any other files. Once the capture is finally done, you can go to File, Exit Capture Mode. Go ahead and go to File, Open Video File, then locate the file. If you got the entire video on one take, congrats! Just go ahead and skim through the video and make sure everything is right. If you had to create 2 or more parts, go ahead and open the first file. Then under File, Append AVI segment, select the part or parts in order. On the first part, find a spot where there's either a cut in the video itself or a place where it's the quietest or least significant in sound. Once you find that spot, go ahead and press this arrow button or press the home key. Go ahead and try to find that same frame on the second part, set the scrubber right before it happens, then hit the other arrow button or press the N key. Hit delete on your keyboard and the 2 seams should be much closer. Go ahead and press the delete key to remove 1 frame. Then check the 2 frames to see if they match by pressing the left and right arrow keys rapidly. Keep doing this until you get the same frames next to each other. Go ahead and delete one of the duplicate frames. Go back a second or 2, hit play, and it should be very seamless.
And now she protects her baby. That's it.
Oh,
Barry.
Vicky. Look at Vicky did. Look it quick. Look it.
What'd she do?
Dropped it. Dropped it on the ground.
What are you dropping, our meat? Ah.
It didn't fall on the dirt, it just fell on the grass. That's fine. That's for Hector anyway. No, I'll give this one.
Once that's done, go ahead and skim through the video to be sure it's good. Then under Video, select Direct Stream Copy. Then under Audio, select Direct Stream Copy. Now under File, click Save as AVI or press F7. After the file name, put something along the lines of Fixed Timing. Now go ahead and press Save. This will take a bit depending on the speed of your storage medium and the interface to which it communicates. Once that's done, congratulations, you just did your raw lossless video capture. Now that you have these files, you need to know what you're going to do with them. Before I continue, if you did end up getting something like a 2 or more terabyte external hard disk drive, I would advise that you keep the raw lossless captures. You never know when you're going to need them again. I imagine the most common thing to do would be to upload these to the internet. Let's start with this first. Unless you're planning on uploading the entire video onto the internet, you'll probably want to just make a small clip from the video. You can do this in Virtualdub with the aforementioned key combos we learned when splicing the 2 parts together. How you do this is entirely limited to your imagination. Once you've made a clip that you feel is adequate, go to Video, Direct Stream Copy, and Audio, Direct Stream Copy. Now go ahead and save as AVI. Be careful not to overwrite your full RAW file. I would probably save this clip somewhere else than where your full RAWs are. I would also put something like excerpt at the end of the file name. Now that you have your raw clip ready, we can move on to encoding your video. Right click on the FFMPEG zip file. You should see something along the lines of extract all, extract files, extract here, or unzip. Go ahead and click that. It may look a bit different here because I have a program called WinRAR. You do not need the software to unzip these files, however. Once that's done, you do need to run command prompt. To do this, hit the Start and R keys. You should see a window pop up in the corner. Type CMD and press OK. In the command prompt, type CD and space. In the FFmpeg folder, find the bin folder. Drag that bin folder into the command prompt window and press the Enter key. If you type FFmpeg and Enter, you should see something like this text pop up. If so, you are on the right track. Type FFmpeg space -I space. Now open the folder where your raw lossless capture is. Drag that video file into FFmpeg. Now after this, insert the following command here. This command will be in the video description. Now drag the raw video file once again and replace AVI with MP4. Press the Enter key. At this point, you should be able to see that it is encoding the video. This will take a bit, not only depending on your storage medium and the interface to which it communicates, but also the power of your computer or CPU. Play the file to see that silky smooth video. Congratulations, you now have a video that you can send to the entire world to see. Now if you are or are also going to put these on DVD, here's how to do that. Using DVDStyler. If you haven't already installed it, go ahead and do so. It should be very straightforward. Upon startup, you will be greeted with this welcome screen. allowing you to create a new project. Under Disk Label, go ahead and name this project in correspondence to your video. Now by default, under Disk Capacity, it probably says DVD 4.7 gigabytes. That's okay, as these are the most common DVD minus or plus Rs. Here's the catch. Under the highest settings, you will be looking at around 72 minutes or around an hour and 12 minutes. If your video is longer than that, there is such a disk standard as a DVD9 8.5 gigabyte, which extends that time up to 132 minutes or 2 hours and 12 minutes. These kinds of discs are called DVD plus RDLs or dual layer discs. They are considerably more expensive depending on which discs you get. For reference, these are the discs I use. These are verbatim Data Life Plus discs. These are said to be the best in the business for longevity. This leaves you with the following options. You can either dumb down the settings by lowering the bitrate so that it fits onto a common 4.7 gigabyte DVD-R disc, or just get 8.5 gigabyte DVD-R DL or dual layer discs. I'll leave that decision up to you. Just remember, lower bitrate, lower quality. If you decided to use 8.5 gigabyte discs, select DVD9 8.5 gigabyte, then under video bitrate, use 8 megabits. If you decided, however, to try to fit your video onto a 4.7 gigabyte disc, leave this option here, and under video, I would still put 8 megabits for now. When you insert your video, you can lower this a notch until it saturates all or most of the 4.7 gigabyte space. Under audio, I put 384 just because I figured I had the space, so why not? There is absolutely no problem with leaving it at 192, however. Under video format, be sure to select either PAL or NTSC depending on the video standard of your video. Remember, in the land of the royals, it's going to be PAL. In the land of the free, it's NTSC. Under aspect ratio, unless you had something like a high 8 camcorder that allowed you to tape in widescreen video, it's most likely going to be 4:3, so set it to that. Just leave the audio format alone. You don't need to worry about it too much. Once that's done, click OK. Now you should see a template select window. Do not click on a template. Just select No Template. To add a title, right-click on the black screen. Go to Add and Text. Type the appropriate name into this. If you right-click on that text, under a line, it should give you options to center the text. Now to make a button, to the left, click Button and click on a button that you want to use. I'm basic, so I'll pick this one. Once you have it, drag it into the screen. If you double-click on the button, it'll give you the option to name it. I'm going to name it Play, as by default, it'll play Title 1 of Tileset 1, or the video that you put into DVDStyler. Go ahead and center it if you feel it's necessary. This is very basic, however you can expand upon this. You are completely limited only to your imagination. Now go ahead and drag your raw capture into DVDStyler. Double-click on the video, then click this wrench icon. Where it says 16:9, unless you absolutely are sure it should stay at 16:9, you'll need to change this to 4:3. Where it says progressive, change that to interlace. We can now compile this DVD. Save the project by going to File, Save, and save it somewhere you'll remember. Once saved, click on this icon. Select Just Generate, and under Save To, save the folder somewhere you'll remember. Once that's done, go ahead and click Start. Again, this will take a bit depending on your storage medium and the interface to which it communicates, as well as the performance of your computer or CPU. Once that's done, go ahead and test the compiled DVD files. Once VLC has opened up your compiled DVD, go ahead and make sure everything is working correctly. Once you feel everything is satisfactory, go ahead and run IMGBurn once you've installed it. You'll get this window. We're going to be creating an image file from files or folders, so we'll click that. Click this icon and locate the folder that your compiled DVD folder is. Click it and click Select Folder. Under Destination, by default, it will go to My Documents. If you want to leave it there, that's fine. However, you could also store these on your external medium if you ended up getting one, in case you ever need to make any more copies. Now click on this icon. This will prompt you with a window verifying if you want to name the ISO the following. Once verified, click OK. If you did choose to use dual layer discs, you will be prompted with a window allowing you to select a break in the video between the two layers. Click on one you think is the least significant part of the video. You will need to do this because when you play this disc, there is most likely going to be a spot in time where the video stops playing for a split second, allowing the player to switch between the disc layers by refocusing the laser. If you want to know more about what I just said, there is a great video on this subject by a YouTube channel by the name of Technology Connections. Once that's done, click OK. Once that's done, under Mode, click Write. Click on this icon and find the ISO you just made. This is the part where you'll need to put the appropriate disk in your burner. You are now ready to burn your DVD. Go ahead and click this button. Once the disk is done burning, you can now test this on a DVD or Blu-ray player. Once you've tested everything and everything is satisfactory, congratulations! You now have a DVD you can play on the big screen for the whole family to see. And, well, that's it. That's the semi-pro way to properly transfer analog media. I hope I was able to steer you away from producing ugly tape transfers, interlacing, and JPEG artifacts and all. If you have any other questions, just let me know, and I will either try to get back to you as soon as I can, or I might make another video pertaining frequently asked questions. I hope you had some fun along the way. Until then, have a blessed day and a blessed evening.